What do you do when your parents won't let you clean? That's a really great question. We're going to talk about it today. Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, if you have a question, you can go over to askahousecleaner.com, and there's a blue button right there in the corner. You click on the little blue button, and a microphone appears, and you just start talking to me as if you were having a conversation with me, and then it records your message, and it brings it to me here at the show. And then we can get your questions answered. So check it out at askahousecleaner.com. All right, on to today's show. We have a house cleaner that wrote into the show, and she said, I want to help my parents clean, but my parents won't let me. What do I do? Okay, well, this is a really tough subject because it's going to involve all of us at some point. At some point, we are going to become those parents that don't want other people to come clean for us. Okay, so what's happening, and it happens a lot, and we get to see this a lot in house cleaning because we are inside other people's homes and we get to be a part of their lives, often for years. And then during that years of cleaning for them, they change. And they change because they get older. And as they get older, their personality shifts just a little bit. And as the personality shifts, they lose part of their independence. So they start fighting for more independence. And so the person that was always really nice to us and offering us, a cup of tea or whatever it is when we came, they're now, a little bit short, and they might be snipey and just a little irritable and things like that. And you have to realize it's not them. This is not the essence of their soul. This is a survival technique. These people are fighting for their independence, and they know that they're getting older. They know that they are not as able to do things that they once were. So when you go to parents and you say, hey, I would like to help you, it comes from the goodness of your heart. I get where that's coming from. We have to also realize that they have their own right to try to be independent as long as they want, or as long as they think they are able, or as long as they physically can. And so one of the hardest lessons that we have to learn in house cleaning, and this is general house cleaning, not just your parents, but we have to learn that when we go to a person's house, because we are house cleaners, there's something we want for them, right? I can walk into your house, I've never seen your house before, and in the back of my mind, I know exactly what I want to do inside your house. But that may not be exactly what you want done inside your house, okay? So there's this really fine line of what do I want for you and what do you want for yourself. And I can't cross that barrier as a professional. Because you are hiring me, this is as a professional, when I come into your home, I have to respect your wishes. And so when you say, no, we're not going to do that, then the answer is, no, we're not going to do that. Even though I think my way is better, because I know what I know, it's not your way. And when all is said and done, I get to leave. But you have to live inside the house with the rules and regulations and with the way that you wanted it to be after I'm gone. And so as a house cleaner, I have to realize that it's not me that gets to have my way, but it's you, okay? So when you go to your parents' house and your parents are like, we don't want you to clean anything, maybe they don't. And that's going to be one of the hardest things that you have to accept. There are parents that don't want to be a burden. And so they'll come out with things like, oh, that's not important. I don't want that done. Just leave it alone. Don't touch that. Well, they do need help. They do wish that it was done. They do wish they had the time to do it and the strength and the energy and the resources and all that stuff, but they don't want to be a burden to you. They know that you've got a family and that you have a job and you're busy and all that stuff. So they say things like that so that it removes the burden from them to you. And so what I just want us to remember is your heart is in a good place and your parents' heart is in a good place. So if you're trying to help your parents out and your parents won't let you, there's this really fine line where you have to say, okay, that's fine. And just realize that the intent of my heart is I love my parents. I want to do right by them. The best thing you might be able to do is just sit down and visit with them and spend some time with them and don't judge them that their house is not as tidy or as neat as you want it to be. There are a lot of parents, especially as they get older and especially as their health starts to slip. There are things that maybe they put in the wrong place, or maybe they forget to hang something up, or they lose their car keys, or they go into a room and they forget why they're there, and they might shuffle things around, or maybe they make notes to themselves so that they can remember things that then they don't remember later on, or they forget why they left the note. So there are clues. There are always clues. And there's a fine line where you have to step in And you have to say, okay, because you are unable, I want to be able to help you, right? Again, there's this fine line, and you have to let them be independent to the very last minute, even if it kills you, because that is a way to honor them and let them do as much as they possibly can for themselves, which gives them purpose. And then when it comes time that they are unable, physically unable or mentally unable, you have to be right there ready to catch them if they fall. And lovingly, like they cut you as a child, you have to catch them and help them, again, be the best person that they can be, or the best version of themselves that they can be with your guided help. And not forceful. Don't be like ripping the whole house apart and renovating everything and all that stuff without their approval. Now, there are times that you're going to have conversations. For example, let's say that your parents are getting elderly and you're going to need to put a wheelchair ramp up to their house. That's going to require a lot of money, it's going to require some time, and it's going to require some home renovations. And so the object of that is to do that before the day comes, so that the day doesn't come when you're just like, oh, you're old and you need a wheelchair ramp, but to guide them up to that moment and say, hey, the day will come when you will need a wheelchair ramp, and I'd love to get that set up for you right now. So while they're young and youthful and able, for you to ease them into the process so that when that moment happens and you come home with the wheelchair, well, the ramp is already set up and it's a smooth transition, okay? That way, it's not frightening, it's not frustrating, and they don't feel like there they are in the wheelchair and the whole house is being renovated and ripped up and, the porch has disappeared and all that stuff. It's a lot of change when there's already a lot of change going on. And so if you can kind of ease them through that process, and you can go just as far as you can go gracefully without upsetting the apple cart. That would be my goal for you. So I love the fact that you want to help. I know it comes from the best of intentions, and I love that about you. But I want to really make sure that we honor our parents because they're doing the best they can. And this is anybody's parents. If you're a professional house cleaner and they're not your parents, they're somebody's parents, right? So just stop for a second and say, hey, that could be my mom. That could be my dad. And show just a little bit of extra respect because they're doing the best that they can. And sometimes one of the hardest things that elder folks do is ask for help. And they don't want to ask for help. They really don't, but sometimes they have to. And as a professional, that's why you're there. You're there to make that transition smooth for them. All right, I hope that helps a little bit. If it does, please pass this on to a friend. If we've earned your subscription, please subscribe. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.